Hi, my name is Kenneth Paulinelli. I'm a teacher at Madera High School. I teach ROP medical careers and medical terminology. I am in the health science and medical technology pathway, and today I'll be talking through my lesson on hand washing and infection control. As the students enter the room, I have an anticipatory set for them that kind of engages them in this unit, and each student will be given a piece of paper with an infectious disease or germ on it that is found on surface or different surfaces, whether it be in a hospital or in our classroom or at your house, wherever it may be. The sheet of paper looks about this big. As they take their seats, they're going to be reflecting on the term that they've just received, and be talking amongst each other, trying to figure out what this all means. After they've all taken their seat and got their disease, I, the teacher, will then prompt them to think about, the term they have just received, and to make a judgment whether they believe that they can either get this or it is found on surfaces, whether it be in the home, inside of a hospital, whether it be at our desks at school. And they will reflect, and then there's two sides written up on my whiteboard in front of the classroom. They will be asked to choose a side if it is or it isn't. And so all students will be able to get out of their seat and then come up to the front of the board and choose which side they think they are on. What makes this anticipatory set work is that every disease and germ that I passed out is found on the surfaces. So the students find out quickly that those that chose that it wasn't on a surface were actually wrong. And they're all very surprised that, salmonella can be found on, a desk, or you can get infectious diarrhea from germs on a desk. So those things kind of hook the students into the lesson and kind of get them wanting to learn more. At this point, I ask them to group up into groups of 4, and we do this in various ways. Randomly throughout the semester, we'll find different ways. Find someone with the same color hair as you, or find someone with the same color eyes, or someone that's born in the same month as you. Things like that to randomize the group so they're not always working with their friends. It's much more lifelike having to work with people you normally wouldn't work with, because that's how it is in the job setting for most places. Once they've grouped up, each student or each group will be handed a research article on infection control and hand washing, and they are instructed to read this and take notes on this this article. Now, each group is assigned a different page of this article, so there's roughly 10 pages, and each group will get about 2 pages, is how it worked out for me this year in my class when I did this lesson. As they read it, they take their notes, they highlight the most important things, and at this point, that's when I'm passing out their poster boards that they are eventually going to be making, and giving them different color markers and things like that. After they've quietly read it, they discuss amongst their group what the most important parts are and how they can best capture these parts on their poster board. Now, each student is given a different color marker, and they're instructed to use this color marker to represent their portion of their poster. So that way I know that every person has got something on the poster that came from them. And this holds everyone accountable for doing, the work that we ask them to do in the class. Now that the guidelines are set, I will walk around the room, monitor the students as they create their poster boards. I need to have creative illustrations on the posters, as well as factual information that they've come across in their reading to best present to their class. As they are doing that, I walk around, make sure any students don't have any questions, or clear up anything that maybe one group would have, while not slowing down any other groups that know exactly or have a clear vision of what they want to get down on their poster. So after they work on their posters and they get them all finished, they then are instructed to choose a team leader. Okay, and this team leader will be the one that presents their information that's on their poster board. So once they've selected that, they will then be prompted for the next assignment. The next portion of The lesson is an indirect strategy called a gallery walk, and this is where through the leader will present the information to the different groups as they rotate through the classroom. So we have each group put their poster up on the wall, and their leader will stand next to that poster and be ready to present the information that they found. The other three people will then travel around the gallery walks, learning about the other posters that have been created. So we give them each 5 minutes to present their poster to everyone that rotates through, and each group will rotate through every poster but their own. At the end of this portion, the students should have notes on every bit of the article that needed to be read in class, but presented by themselves and taught by themselves or each other. At that point, they return back to their leader and their group, and they get another 10 minutes to all present the information that they just learned to their leader, so the leader gets all the same information that they've already gotten. Now that every student has acquired the information that they need through this article, and they've kind of taught each other the lesson, one portion of this was hand washing, and this is how the hand washing kind of ties into this whole lesson. So they learn about all the diseases and germs that they can come across in infection control. They learn the proper techniques of hand washing from each other, because one group was assigned that portion of the article. At this point, it sets up for our lab that we will do, and we use the hand glow gel, germ gel, and it's like fake germs, and it glows under a black light. The students will be taken to the lab, and they will put glow germ on their hands and rub it in like lotion, and then they will try to use the hand washing technique that they have just learned as they all wash their hands, and talk about the different techniques that they need to be using. I have a black light as the teacher, and when they think that they have washed the germs off their hands, they come over and see me with the black light, and I shine the black light on their hands, and the germs will glow if they didn't wash their hands properly. This is a very eye-opening experience for the kids, because it gives them a kind of a first-hand look of how many spots they do miss when washing their hands, and how long they need to be doing it. Many people miss underneath their nails and up towards their wrist, because they're not getting the whole portion of their hands or doing it with the correct technique. So this kind of furthers their technique and skills in hand washing, and makes them very more cognizant of how well they need to wash their hands to prevent these types of diseases from spreading. After the lab has been completed, the students will kind of have a reflection period where they write down the most important things that they've learned from the lesson, and it's just a quick little like blog that they will write down in their journal. And then at the end of the period, each student is given a post-it note, and there's 3 questions that I have created for them at the end of the lesson that kind of summarize the lesson for me. And at that point, the students will take those 3 questions and answer them and stick it on the door on the way out, and that is their exit ticket to get out of the classroom and finish the lesson. This is my way of checking for understanding, but not slowing down what we're learning. And then through those post-it notes, I go over them, and I'll know what I need to go back over for the next day of, to kind of finish the lesson or do any type of review with the students that I need to do if they weren't getting something that I wanted them to get out of the lesson. That kind of concludes the lesson that I teach, and there are many indirect strategies tied into this, and it's really, really good for the students because it gives them an opportunity to teach each other, and it really makes them become experts on the material because they have to teach it to each other. The next thing I want to do to take it to the next level for my next year's class would be having them create a public service announcement and present to different classes throughout campus to raise awareness of infection control.